What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're getting Casper ready to go to the drag strip. This will probably be the last time we get to take it this year. I've got a lot of work to do. It's Friday, getting late. Let me show you what I've got to do to this thing. So as you know, Casper has a Dynamic Racing C4 Mighty Mite M2. Harold Miller sent me this converter here. It's a 9-inch unit, Spragless. I did a video a while back called "This Could Make or Break You." I really believe that this is going to get us a new personal best with Casper. The bad thing is, it's getting dark. So I got to get my butt in gear, get underneath this truck, get transmission out, and get this swapped in. Before I climb up underneath this thing, I'm going to tell you some other changes that I've made. Since it's getting colder here in North Carolina, it developed this crazy lean spot right off of idle going down the road. I mean, it would act like it was completely running out of fuel. So pulled the fuel bowls off, took out the transfer slot restriction jets here, and that fixed it up. Basically, the air is so good right now that, yeah, it needs fuel to go with that oxygen. Got the progression ignition distributor in it. I have probably put, probably a couple hundred miles on this thing since the last video where I took the lifter out of it and fixed that. So yeah, it's coming along quite nice. Just get that converter swapped out and get, I'm sure I got plenty of other stuff to do. Well, I'm freezing, okay? I've got everything ready to go for the most part. Bell housing bolts loose. I left one of them in. Converter bolts are out. Drive shafts out, all that fun stuff. It's cold out here, so I'll come back when it's daylight and yank this transmission out, and yeah. Well, it's Saturday. I got a late start on this thing, but the old converter is out, so let's take a look at it. This is the converter that I just pulled out of Casper. This came from Mike Rowland. He let me use this converter to go to the Steel in Motion show in Union, South Carolina. This is an 8-inch converter that's really meant for a small cubic inch light car application and has a fairly high stall to it. With mixed up balls making 700 horsepower and 4,200 pounds Casper weight, this converter could not hold that kind of power. It just blew through it, meaning not the right one, obvious. This 9-inch unit here is the in-between, and I really think that this is going to be the right one. This is a Spragless converter. If you know, I've broken a couple sprags in this truck due to the weight and all that. So Harold decided to go Spragless. Now, what I would think will happen, since this is 1/8 mile, I may lose a little bit of mile per hour, but the ET should be fairly close. It may slow down slightly, but I really think that this is going to get the truck off the line, which could ultimately make it faster overall. But that remains to be seen. We're just going to have to try it and see what happens. Well, it's about 6:45. Just got the jack stands out from underneath Casper. Getting ready to crank this thing up, let it warm up, put some fluid in it. That's the fluid that I use, by the way. I don't know what's in it, but it works great. All right, we're going to do this cold start. Look at this here. Cold as you can get it. Come around here. All right. Tunnel rams aren't friendly. half a pump, let it sit for about 10 seconds. You want vapors. That's exactly what you want. You don't want raw gas. And then see how it does. It should. See how to go in gear. Oh, that's nice. Didn't really choke it down any. It's idling in gear. 2 minutes after I cranked it up. converter seems, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say nothing, but probably the best feeling converter that's been in the truck so far. Let's head back home, put it away for the night, load up tomorrow. We are at Shadyside Dragway with Casper. I'm finally at the track with something that I'm familiar with, carburetors. So Casper did really good on the way up here. I was concerned about the heat of that new converter, and I was right. The transmission temperature is hovering around 215 to 220. I do not like it there. In fact, it was blowing some out the overflow vent. So I'm going to clean all that off, let this thing cool down, and yeah, we're gonna have a good day. One of the things I want to do is see how much gas we used coming up here. Now, whenever I filled it to that line on my finger, real scientific here, but it looks like we used about 3.5 gallons coming up here. That's not too bad. I had to do the math on that, but yeah, I actually stopped and filled up that can right there so that I have some spare gas. But yeah, not bad. So if you come to Shadyside and you don't get this bologna burger, yes, that's a southern thing here in North Carolina, you don't know what you're missing out on. Toby, tell us what you think.
No, I feel good.
You got it all over you.
I'm sorry,
You wearing it.
Heck yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so what we're gonna do here, I've got Toby in there, making sure that I have wide open throttle, and it's close, but not exact. Anytime you take a tunnel ram off, you need to double check, make sure the throttle doesn't stick, and make sure that wide open throttle still happens. So I've let the thing cool down, got the transmission fluid cleaned up, checked everything out. We seem to be good, so that's a good sign. One bad thing is my tack quit working, so I'm just gonna have to be completely old school and shift it by ear. Oh well. So I just made that first pass. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Went 713 at 98 with a terrible 163.60. So basically it sucked. But no, what I was going to say is the camera died for inside the truck. They thought I was leaving on a pro tree. I wasn't expecting that, so I don't even know where I left that on the converter. So anyways, I'm going to do my usual, go up there and just stage it right off of idle, slam it into the converter and let it eat. The good news is it didn't really lose any mile per hour with this new converter. I just got to get it to hook and book. 2 runs. Well, it slowed down. It's no fault of the converter, I don't think. I think it's all tires. These drag radials are like 5 years old, and I can feel it slipping the tire. It seems like it slips 1 or 2 turns before it grabs and goes. But even doing that, it was pretty consistent. I mean, it ran a 15 and an 18. I had an 03 light on that last pass, so I'm pretty happy about that. Found a tree. I think we're gonna pack it up and head to the house. What'd you think about it?
Oh, I loved it. I haven't been here since I was little.
Yeah, that little kid and parents was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it reminded me of like you taking me to track as a kid.
Yeah. You have a good time?
Yeah.
I had a really good time. I mean, even though it didn't run the fastest it's ever been, the fact that we're driving at home and everything's good.
It could be way worse.
I wish I'd have videoed when they put the kid in the truck and all that.
That was so cute.
That was pretty cool. Trying to get over here. Another thing, people is friendly when you're driving Casper, for the most part.
It's approachable.
It's approachable. He's a friendly ghost.
Oh yeah, I say that with a lot of love.
Well, we made it home from the track. Everything was good except for the transmission temperature. 225 degrees. I do not like that. Looking at the ETs, it's easy to get discouraged because, well, every time you go to the drag strip, you can't run a personal best. But in this weather back in May, it pretty much ran the same ET in mile per hour, with exception of the 60 foot. The 60 foot is where Casper is losing. This truck has been 152 to 154, pretty consistent. Now it's 166, 163, so it's lost a whole tenth just in the 60 foot, and that's where the ET is actually at. It would be 670s, 680s once that comes back around. Maybe get some new tires on it. That'll take care of that, hopefully. But got a lot of really cool stuff coming up here soon. Finishing up Jason Black's big block Ford cylinder heads. If you remember the 5 golden rules of DV's head porting. Doing some work on DV's Mustang, the EcoBoost with nitrous. That's going to be fun. And then hopefully I'm going to get up with Jeff Prock about getting Casper on the hub dyno so that you guys and gals can see the difference between flywheel horsepower and rear wheel horsepower. All good stuff here at Unity Motorsports Garage. So if you like what I'm doing, don't forget, click that little subscribe button, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And until next time, I will catch you later.